have it. Match 9 starting with Chingari Golf Titans, the only team so far with no points on the scoreboard. They will have to correct this post-haste, and definitely hoping to do it in this match. We see there their icon player, Young Krzysztof Duda, black against MVL. Never an easy assignment. MVL is fantastically well prepared in the opening, and you do have to make sure you solve the opening problems against him. Otherwise, he is a very, very difficult player to contain. But Young Krzysztof is also obviously
he's very well prepared all the time in the opening.
A world-class player in that respect as well. So yeah, will be interesting to see. James is actually working on creating a teaching course on this particular opening, and I, on the other hand, dislike this opening with a passion for some obscure reason I don't even know myself. So that is not ideal, and I feel somewhat betrayed by MVL, who for years and years and years opened with the King's Pawn on move 1 and is now turning into a 1d4 player. Why? Why would you do that, Tanya?
And the reason is on the board, because it might have started as the London, known to be one of the most solid openings, but the line that Young Krzysztof Duda has chosen is the most dynamic. He goes for the poison pawn, as we saw, picking up that pawn on b2, retreats with the queen. It's all about the initiative. Now, both these players, their style is not solid, strategic. Of course, universal players, but intuitively a lot more aggressive, Ketty. And I think that's the kind of chess we're going to see here. I'm just glad that we're commentating on this and not playing this position. Because to me, this is absolute chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he's taking a pause, because in particular with what Ketty has told us, I'm sure MVL is aware of that game Young Krzysztof played recently. People generally pay very good attention to their opponent's recent play.
Getting great call by you, because we do have the knight jump on the board. Well
let's go.
There. Hitting the queen on a5. Let's go. And of course, the
let's
idea
go.
is to
Queen
pick
to
up
d8
the
was in the game, and then queen f3 if my memory is good. Yes.
Let's bring up our bird's eye view and take a look at all the boards that are happening, because as Peter, you mentioned, action is on and it's getting pretty hot in some of the boards. The one that catches my attention is the one that we saw a question mark on. The top right board, Daniel Dubois versus Vidit Gujarati.
Yeah, this one looked quiet a moment ago, but Daniel Dubov just now pushed for some kind of an attack on the king side of the board, and it might not work out for him, although I'm not sure if Vidit's reply was the sort of the harshest punishment for the liberties taken there by Daniel Dubov. Seems like a playable position to me. It doesn't look... Honestly, this could become a very, very fighting position, but the Prodigy board is a lot crazier. And if we could just go to the Prodigy board for a second, because that one is like legitimately, potentially a game for the ages.
For Peter Swidler, it is all about what is happening on that bottom right board. Nihal Serene versus Sindarov, and that's the game that we are going to bring up next.
In the current position, white is already a full piece up, and Nihal...
Oh, what is this sign, Tanya?
Yeah, that is
what is...
That can't be good news for black.
Yeah.
But again, as you were saying, absolutely crazy position, because white has an extra piece. White's king is still stuck in the center, and the sign keeps repeating.
Yeah.
It's saying, you know what, black made a mistake, white made a mistake. What's going on here? It's the most natural looking move. The bishop was attacked, and you come back with it.
It's, yeah, I would think this is what you're supposed to play in this position, but clearly the engine disagrees. But I understand we've moved past that.
Well, Ketty, what catches your attention?
I see this game just Kosteniuk Hampi, the game which gives white huge advantage. We can see the bar goes all the way up, and this is the game just below on the hand left, and we can see that white is having a very good position.
Yeah, Hampi seems to be pretty much completely winning here against Alexandra Kosteniuk, so problems continue for the Chingari Golf Titans. That is a poor position. Will be very, very difficult to defend. Black is already a full pawn down, and she does not really have very much to show for it either. You could also argue that she is worse positionally. So yeah, that hasn't gone according to plan for Alexandra.
We do see Nihal Serene there making a move confidently. He is up on the clock as well. The players continue to blitz out the move. And look at that. White's king in the center. Sidesteps. A check. This is fire on the board. Black is currently down a piece. Nihal Serene down a piece. But all the play. Nobody cares about material right now as long as the king is under fire.
Yeah, but it feels like perhaps something was missed because we saw that the engine was in disagreement with at least some of the decisions Sindarov was taking. But now the engine bar suggests that White is massively in front, which is not really such a surprise considering that we're a full piece up. One threat you need to take control of here, if, let's say, if we make a kind of a passing move on the king side, let's just make h3, h4 for no reason whatsoever. Black can take our knight, and if we just recapture blindly, we get mated in 2 here, which is very, very painful. So that is the threat on the board which needs to be tackled. But I think it's very easily tackled by lifting our queenside rook 2 squares up.
Oh, nice. So you just want to safeguard the square where the queen wants to jump in. A big threat on the board. Black currently wants to swap off this knight and land the queen on a deadly check. Let's bring it up really quickly. Alexandra Kosteniuk against Koneru Humpy. And we see the last move has been a big, big blunder by Kosteniuk.
Yeah, but I don't think it was properly punished because I think you could have... I think after that move, there is a very cute little tactic here because if you notice the position of the black heavy pieces on the queen side, they could get attacked with the same piece, but currently there is a knight in the way, and there is a kind of a pretty way to solve that problem. You can actually temporarily sacrifice that knight by taking the central pawn.
You want to do it with firepower. You want to move that knight away, but with as much of an impact as you can.
Absolutely. And if that knight gets taken by whichever black pawn chooses to do it, we can, yeah, push b6.
Peter, where do you want to jump to? I would love to call the Nihal Sindarov board right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, because I suspect they're getting very, very short on time. And also, I think Nihal's position improved. It's still not great, but it's definitely better than it used to be with some trades happening. And
ooh, Sindarov being a bit nervous. Look at him.
Taking
a lot. Ooh, this is the sign of the nervousness.
Is that a classic nervous sign in chess when a player starts sort of moving around too much? You know that he can feel the tension?
Yeah. Oh, I think
that does look like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is a
we need the music, you know,
right
to beat that.
Yeah.
And on the other end, Nihal looking completely calm and composed. He's up on the clock right now.
A little bit, yeah.
Down on material currently.
Yeah, he still has the problem he had when we last looked at this game, where he sacrificed some material out of the opening and he hasn't won it back. You will see that the black bishop can take the white rook pretty much at any point. You don't even have to do it immediately. The rook is pinned. So yeah, I think he's done the right thing. He just brings the other bishop home. He's looking quite nervous, but I think if all else fails, he can trade the queens, then pick up another pawn on the queen side with the rook, and he has pretty much everything under control. There might be things which are stronger, but on 20 seconds, perhaps you just go for what you know is good.
He's going to give a checkmate. He's not going for any endgame for any pawns. This has to finish right now. It looks so busted for the white king.
It does look very, very bad, yeah.
MVL on the first board just happened, and they have finished the game. I think they just repeated, and they just checked each other. Very often, just players are just checking each other if they have analyzed the game deeply, if they know this theory, and there's no question that these two players knew it. In the end of the day, they are icons of chess, and they're playing on the first board.
And while this match is over, the two of them are still on the board discussing this quite an epic battle in the opening. It was a bit of a firefight there, but both knowing with familiar territory, handle the hot waters. And now it comes down to the other boards. The icons are done with their games, but the other 5 boards are still on. Let's zoom out and bring up.
Oh, meanwhile, the game has ended.
We've
on
got
the
a result
board.
on board number 2, and it ends in a draw. We see the kings have been placed in the center, and this one, just like the icon board, this ends peacefully. But the boards all around are anything but peaceful. And you're saying after the knight moves, the king steps, and this is the draw that we're looking at, which will be on the board. We can see, but he gives another check, Peter. Let's quickly see.
Yeah,
he decides.
That's also perpetual, yeah, and there will be a handshake.
And the handshake.
What a save by Sindarov.
Fantastic,
nice Sindarov.
fantastic save. It's basically a one-board match now.
And this was the game where Connery Humpy was winning, had better position, and now I would say this is a bit of complicated, Peter.
Yeah, I don't know. It still looks like it might be winning for white, but if it is not trivial. It is absolutely not trivial at all. And yeah, we should just watch.
Wow. And playing on seconds, we did see a little bit of tension there by Alexandra as she just made her last move, coming with the bishop forward. But this bishop controls a lot of squares. White cannot move with the king. And we see it continues. And now you have to be a little careful because this is what I'm talking about. If you don't move the bishop to the right square, white will end up giving a checkmate. So you have to cover a diagonal so that you fall back with the bishop. She does it from the other side.
She's a bit nervous.
She wants this to be over.
Yeah. She's not enjoying the fact that she will have to continue giving like these precise answers to a reasonably straightforward question, but nonetheless, it's not a lot of fun. And yeah, she would very much like to be doing something else now, but not on the table for her. I feel like if this was an individual competition, perhaps the game would have already been over.
Right.
But because she knows victory here is not just good for her, it wins the match for. And there we see the claim. Alexandra stopped the clock and is now asking for an arbiter for a count.
This is move 117, and the last trade has happened on move 64.
So it's actually a very good claim. Yeah, we're at move 52. The game is.
And Humpy that's shaking her head. She knows that this was a big missed opportunity. She doesn't fight the claim. She knows it's been going on for long. And Alexandra Kosteniuk there shaking her head in relief.
Absolutely.
That is right.
And chess players can just never have too much of chess. After that marathon 117 move game, here they are analyzing this position. And Peter, once Humpy finds out about that big miss that happened.
I think they are talking about that moment, actually, that blunder. Alexandra for sure realized the moment she played that move, it was a huge blunder.
Yeah, that's something that happens very, very often where you release the piece, you press the clock, and you immediately see why it's a bad move. Right. But there is no way back at that point.
And guys, if you have realized, players are having the numbers as well.
With that, we end this match, this mammoth match, with 6 draws. We've not seen that happen before.